And it is time now for our Sunday group, Fox News senior political analyst Brit Hume, Susan Page from USA Today, GOP strategist Karl Rove, and Fox News political analyst Juan Williams. Welcome to you all. Juan, where are we right now? Have things gotten better? Are they getting worse?
Well, obviously, I mean, I think, the fact that I'm sitting here as part of this panel, I don't think my dad would be here. So we're talking, over 50 years. Depends where you want to judge it, Shannon. But I think at this moment, I just feel so sad. I mean, I think the whole country's sort of grieving right now after Dallas, and especially after watching those two videos from Minnesota and Louisiana, because the social media kind of takes you right into it. And even in Dallas, the social media of watching the police have to deal, and a man standing over a policeman and shooting repeatedly in that manner, that kind of hatred, it just shocks the system, and it makes you think, gosh, race in this country, as you suggested by your question, we're in a bad place. And so the question is, how do you stop this cycle of violence and hate? How do we get out of it? I think we've had some, I just want to say from my perspective, to hear Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, say, you know what, we can do better than this, and we cannot just step into the predictable script of saying, oh, hatred and pointing fingers. I thought that was so important. I thought it was so important for Newt Gingrich to come out this week and say so many white people don't understand the added risk that comes with being black and being stopped by police in this country. I was very appreciative to hear that and to move away, even by Donald Trump, from the idea, oh, I'm going to blame the other side and I'm going to make this into a racial situation.
Mm-hmm. And we asked folks to write in to be part of this discussion today. On Twitter, Richard Hurd says, why are race relations in America at an all-time low? After electing our first ever black president, seems they would be better. Jay Wheeler asks which candidate would have a better shot at healing the racial divide. And John Ferguson on Facebook says, how do you get black males to trust police and vice versa? Karl, where do we go from here?
Well, I'm not certain, but I know one place we shouldn't go, and that is not turn this into a debate about gun control. I was taken aback that G.K. Butterfield, the head of the Congressional Black Caucus, after Castillo and Sterling lost their lives, his immediate response was to say, if we fail to act and have a full debate on gun control, this will be a long, hot summer. Well, the only kind of gun control issue that was involved in the deaths of Sterling and Castillo was the guns in the hands of the police. And so unless the argument is we ought to disarm the police, this is not connected with gun control. There's no gun measure that has been, nobody is saying, let's take away everybody's gun. There's no gun measure that's been proposed that would have kept these incidents from happening. I would say this. First of all, I agree with Juan about Newt Gingrich and particularly Paul Ryan. Right. And I also want to thank you for what you said. I happened to catch what you said about that, which is something I think every American needs to understand. You having to have a conversation with your two sons about what to do if they came into contact with police officers. And I don't want to be overly critical of the president, but when he said it's very hard to untangle the motives of the shooter, I'll leave that to psychologists and people who study these kinds of incidents. It would have been far better for this dialogue that we need to have if he said, a man who declares his intention to kill white people, especially white police officers, is a man engaged in evil. And you cannot confront something unless you're willing to call it by its name.
All right, unfortunately, we are out of time for this panel, but much more to discuss with the panel, so we'll take a quick break.